Why were you born into this exact life? Not someone else's body, not another family, not another time or place, but this one, with all its beauty, pain, and mystery? Do you ever get the feeling that there's more to your existence than just chance? Why does your life look the way it does? Is it luck, fate, or is there something deeper going on beneath the surface? Welcome to Stillness Unfolded, where we explore the profound truths hidden within everyday existence. In this video, we're diving into a timeless question. Why were you born into this life? And what are you meant to do with it? But instead of answering with superstition or vague motivation, we'll explore the wisdom of the Buddha, paired with insights from modern science and real-life experience. Together, we'll unpack karma, purpose, the rarity of human life, and how your mind can be trained to change the direction of your future. So if you're ready, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share your thoughts down in the comments. I read them all, and they help this channel grow and bring deeper content to you. This video is filled with insights that could shift how you see your life, so be sure to stay till the end to receive the full message. Let's begin. Chapter 1. You are not an accident. Life is the result of causes. There is a deep comfort, and also a deep challenge, in realizing that nothing in your life is random. The Buddhist understanding of karma isn't some mystic scoreboard in the sky. It's not judgment. It's not fate. It's not luck, and it's certainly not divine punishment. It's simply a law of natural unfolding. Karma means cause and effect. That's it. If you plant a mango seed, you don't get oranges. You get mangoes. Not because you're good or bad, not because the universe likes you or dislikes you, but because that's just how nature works. Now pause for a moment and really look at your own life. Your physical body, your emotional patterns, your relationships, your habits of thought. Are there certain patterns that keep showing up? Certain challenges that seem to repeat? These are not cosmic mistakes or genetic accidents. From a Buddhist view, they are the outcomes of causes, some recent, some ancient. Every choice you've ever made, every thought you've nourished, every word you've spoken, has left an imprint. Those imprints don't vanish. They accumulate. They shape the mind, and the mind shapes the life. It's easy to look at others and think, why is their life easier than mine? But comparison is a distraction. Instead, ask, what is this moment showing me about the seeds I've sown? The point isn't to feel guilty or to justify suffering. The point is to recognize that what's happening now is workable. It's not a verdict. It's a process. And most importantly, it's your process. I once had a conversation with a man who grew up in violence. His father was in and out of prison, his mother addicted to painkillers. He told me he used to believe life had cursed him. But over time, through meditation and reflection, he began to understand. I didn't choose my family, but I can choose who I become in response to it. I can continue the cycle, or I can break it. And that, right there, is the essence of karma in Buddhist thought. Karma is not a prison sentence. It's not a label you carry. It's a moment-by-moment opportunity. It's the understanding that you're not defined by your past, but you are shaped by it. And if you can understand what shaped you, you can begin to reshape yourself. One of my teachers put it beautifully. Karma is not what happens to you. Karma is how you've trained yourself to meet what happens. That might sound subtle, but it's everything. Because the truth is, most of us are reacting, not responding. We carry unconscious patterns from childhood, culture, and past lives. And without awareness, we keep repeating the same causes and expecting different results. So here's something I invite you to reflect on right now. What's one pattern in your life you know keeps leading to suffering? What would it look like to pause before repeating it next time? Even asking that question is powerful. It plants the seed of change. From the Buddhist view, the fact that you're even watching or listening to this now is no coincidence. It means the conditions have ripened in you for a different way of seeing. You don't need to wait for a new life. This life is the one you can awaken in. And when you ask, why was I born into this body, this family, this place? The answer is not punishment or reward. It's possibility. You were born here because this is where your awakening can begin. Not because it's comfortable, not because it's fair, but because this moment, this life, holds the precise mix of conditions your soul needs to grow. When we really take this in, we stop seeing our life as a burden. We start to see it as a field, sometimes rocky, sometimes dry, but always fertile. A field where seeds can be planted. And with enough care, something beautiful can grow. No one else can walk that field for you, but you can walk it. And with mindfulness, with patience, and with clarity, you can make your life a path, not a puzzle. Because no, you were not born by accident. You were born with intention, through causes, and now it's your turn to create the next ones. Chapter 2. Your life is not a sentence, it's an invitation. We live in a culture obsessed with labeling. Success or failure. Good karma or bad karma. Worthy or unworthy. From childhood, we're measured, graded, judged. And over time, we begin to internalize a dangerous belief that our current circumstances define our ultimate worth. But from a Buddhist lens, those labels are illusions, attachments we cling to, not truths that liberate. Life isn't a sentence handed down by a cosmic judge. It's not a punishment, and it's not a reward. It's a mirror. It reflects the conditions we've carried, and it invites us to wake up. Still, that's not always easy to believe, is it? When life hurts, when someone betrays us, when a dream dies, when sickness arrives without warning, it's so human to ask, why me? The voice of guilt chimes in, maybe I deserve this. The voice of bitterness whispers, life is unfair. I must be cursed. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in that space? That heavy moment where it feels like the universe is stacked against you? If you have, you're not alone. In fact, that moment is where transformation often begins. Because Buddhism doesn't ask us to deny our pain. It asks us to see through it. It asks us to move from why is this happening to me, to what is this here to teach me? That subtle shift in mindset is everything. Imagine fire. Left uncontrolled, it destroys. But placed in the hands of a blacksmith, it tempers and strengthens steel. Suffering is like that. When we run from it, it burns. But when we turn toward it with awareness, it becomes a catalyst for insight. Suffering teaches us where we're clinging too tightly. It reveals where we've been avoiding truth. And, most importantly, it often shows us where we're finally ready to evolve. The Buddha was clear. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Suffering arises when we resist what is, when we try to control the uncontrollable, or when we grasp at what's already gone. But here's the beautiful part. Pain, when held with wisdom, becomes fuel for awakening. The Buddha once described 4 types of people. Let's see if you recognize yourself in one of them. 1. Those who chase pleasure and avoid discomfort. 2. Those who seek security and control above all else. 3. Those who live on autopilot, numbed by routine or distraction. 4. And those who seek truth, even if it's inconvenient, even if it breaks them open. Most of us start in the first 3, and truthfully, we all bounce between them. But there comes a point when the pleasure doesn't satisfy, the control doesn't work, and the autopilot leaves us feeling empty. That's when the 4th path begins. That's when life stops being something to escape and starts becoming something to engage. This shift often comes not through success, but through heartbreak, through burnout, through loss. The world doesn't need to be perfect for us to awaken. It just needs to be seen clearly. Let me ask you directly. What in your life right now feels hard, unfair, or painful? Can you see even one small way it might be trying to teach you something? Even if you're not sure of the lesson yet, just holding the possibility that your pain has purpose, that changes everything. There's a Tibetan teaching that says, when you recognize that suffering is not the enemy, your enemy becomes your teacher. You were not dropped into difficulty to be punished. You were placed here because this difficulty contains within it the precise ingredients for growth. Maybe you've experienced grief so deep you didn't know how to go on. But later, that grief made you more tender with others. Maybe you lost everything you depended on, and in the ashes, discovered a resilience you didn't know you had. That's not punishment. That's a doorway. So what if life isn't something happening to you, but something unfolding through you? You are not a prisoner of your karma. You are the executor of it. You're the one who chooses whether to repeat unconscious patterns or to interrupt them with presence. When we start to see life as an invitation, rather than a sentence, our entire approach changes. We stop waiting for better circumstances and start using our current ones. This is the moment. This is the ground. You don't have to wait for the right partner, the right job, the right bank balance, or the right mood. You already have what you need to begin walking the path. Life will never stop presenting challenges, but you can stop interpreting them as curses. Instead, see them as calls to presence, as invitations to clarity, as fuel for awakening. Because your life isn't a cosmic punishment. It's an open hand, reaching out and saying, "Come, there's something here for you to see." Chapter 3. The Miracle of a Human Life. There's a powerful metaphor in Buddhist teachings, simple but staggering. Imagine a blind sea turtle living at the bottom of a vast ocean. Once every 100 years, it swims to the surface for air. Now picture a single wooden yoke, a ring-shaped piece of wood, floating somewhere on that vast sea. The Buddha said the chances of that turtle surfacing and putting its head through the center of that yoke, by pure accident, are nearly zero. And yet, those are the same odds the Buddha gave for being born as a human being. Think about that. Of all the forms of life that exist, seen and unseen, known and unknown, you were born as a human. Not just alive, not just breathing, but capable of asking questions like, why am I here? What is suffering? How do I live with purpose and compassion? This is not a guilt trip. It's not a pressure to make the most of life in some performative way. It's a gentle wake-up call to realize that being human is not a default state. It's a rare, temporary, and powerful opportunity. But here's the thing, we forget. We forget how rare it is to simply be here, to have hands that can offer help, a voice that can speak truth, a heart that can feel love, grief, wonder. We forget because we get lost in habits, in routines, in scrolling and rushing and reacting. And maybe this is where I should ask you something directly. When was the last time you felt truly present in your life? Not just physically in a place, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually there? Was it during a quiet walk? A deep conversation? Holding someone's hand? Or maybe it was just sitting with a cup of tea, watching the rain hit the window. These moments, they're so ordinary that we often overlook them. But they're also the doorway to awakening. Because to be human is not just to think. It's to notice, to reflect, to pause and realize, I'm here, and this moment is alive. No other species we know of does this in quite the same way. A deer doesn't question impermanence. A tree doesn't contemplate compassion. But you can. You can reflect on the nature of your suffering. You can ask what truly matters. And you can choose to live in alignment with wisdom. That's not superiority. That's responsibility. The Buddha emphasized the preciousness of human birth because it's not guaranteed. We don't know how long we'll be here. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to liberate you from waiting. We say we'll forgive next week. We'll say what needs to be said next time. We'll start meditating when life calms down. But the truth is, this moment is the only one we ever get. And this moment, right now, holds infinite potential. If you're suffering, this moment can be the beginning of healing. If you're lost, this moment can be the first step toward clarity. If you've made mistakes, this moment can be where you begin again. Human life is miraculous not because it's easy or glamorous or perfect. It's miraculous because you're conscious enough to change course, to course correct, to evolve. Even the smallest acts, a word of kindness, 5 minutes of mindfulness, a pause before reacting, these are not small. They ripple through your own heart, through the people you love, through the world, quietly but surely. I once heard a monk say, "Don't waste your human life trying to be extraordinary. Use it to be awake." Because being fully awake in a single moment, really seeing the sky, really hearing your child's voice, really noticing your breath, that is already extraordinary. So I ask you, with sincerity, what will you do with this unrepeatable chance? Not someday, not when everything feels perfect, but today, in this very breath. This life is not ordinary. It is fragile, fleeting, and unbelievably precious. And it's calling you, not to be more, but to be here. Fully, openly, gratefully. Because the miracle isn't somewhere out there. The miracle is that you are here at all. Chapter 4. The mind can be trained, science and Buddhism agree. Centuries before neuroscience caught up, the Buddha was already teaching what we now call neuroplasticity. The understanding that the mind is not fixed. It is trainable, malleable, and evolving. Our thoughts, like footsteps, leave trails. Think of a dense forest. Walk through it once, and the path barely exists. But walk that same path again and again, and soon it becomes the easiest way through. The mind works the same way. If we constantly respond to life with anger, worry, or blame, those states become our default settings. We walk the same mental trail, even when we don't want to. But the moment we choose something different, a pause, a breath, a small act of restraint, we start laying down a new path. And that's not just a nice metaphor. That's biology. Modern science confirms that meditation reshapes the brain. Long-term practitioners show measurable changes in regions related to attention, emotional regulation, and compassion. Even just a few weeks of mindfulness training can reduce activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain that triggers fear and stress, and strengthen the prefrontal cortex, which governs wise decision-making. But here's what I want you to really hear. You don't have to be a monk. You don't need a cave in the Himalayas. You just need to start where you are. Let me ask you something. What's one mental habit you know is holding you back? Is it self-criticism? Impatience? Constant distraction? Whatever it is, you didn't choose it overnight, and you won't unlearn it overnight. But you can begin. 5 minutes of mindful breathing each morning. A pause before reacting to someone's words. A small act of kindness, especially when it feels difficult. These are not trivial. These are acts of mental rewiring. I once worked with a student who had a short temper. He'd explode at the smallest things: traffic, slow internet, a coworker's tone. When I suggested meditation, he laughed. "That's not me," he said. But eventually, he gave it a try. At first, it was only 2 minutes of silent breathing per day. But slowly, something shifted. He told me, "I didn't stop being angry overnight, but I noticed I had more space. Not to not feel the anger, but to not obey it." That's the key. Training the mind isn't about erasing emotions. It's about liberating yourself from being controlled by them. You create space between the stimulus and the response, and in that space, freedom grows. The Buddha called this bhavana, mental cultivation, and he compared the mind to a field. Left alone, weeds of greed, fear, and delusion grow wild. But with care, with consistency, with patience, you can grow the fruits of clarity, compassion, and insight. No one else can do this work for you, but the beauty is, no one can take it away from you either. You have a mind. That mind is shapeable, and with every choice, you are shaping it. Even something as small as stopping to notice your breath right now, that's training. Even choosing not to scroll when you're bored, and instead sitting with your restlessness, that's training. What would your life feel like if your mind was your ally, not your enemy? If instead of reacting from habit, you responded with presence? This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to the clearest version of who you already are, beneath the noise, beneath the conditioning, beneath the reactivity. The Buddha said, "As irrigators guide water, as archers shape arrows, the wise shape their minds." You are the one shaping your mind. And the more you practice, even in small, simple ways, the more your inner landscape transforms. A garden doesn't bloom because you force it. It blooms because you care for it daily. Your mind is the same. The next time you catch yourself spiraling in stress or judgment, take a breath. That breath is not insignificant. It is the turning point. That single moment of awareness can reroute an entire day, and over time, a lifetime. So train your mind, not because you're broken, but because you're capable. Not because you're flawed, but because you're free to grow. Chapter 5. What should you do with this life? If you've come this far, then something inside you, however quiet, is already stirring. Maybe it's curiosity. Maybe it's longing. Maybe it's the simple recognition that your life is more than routine, more than survival. And so we arrive at the question that matters most. What should you do with this one rare, miraculous human life? The Buddha didn't leave us guessing. His answer wasn't mystical or abstract. He didn't offer slogans or promises. He gave us tools. A path. Not a dogma to believe in, but a way to live. It's called the Noble Eightfold Path, a framework for living with integrity, awareness, and freedom. And while all 8 parts matter, we can begin with something even more accessible. 3 core commitments that shape the essence of the path. Let's walk through them together. 1. Live with awareness, mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't about being calm all the time. It's not about becoming perfectly focused or blissed out. Mindfulness is showing up to your own life, fully, honestly, gently. It's noticing your thoughts without becoming them. It's recognizing the tone in your voice before it hardens into blame. It's pausing before the impulse to numb, to distract, to lash out. Have you ever caught yourself mid-reaction and thought, "I don't want to keep doing this"? That moment of recognition, that's mindfulness. Today, can you take just one moment to pause before speaking? To really taste your food? To breathe before checking your phone? These small acts of presence don't just feel better, they change you. They're the beginnings of liberation. 2. Act with compassion, kindness. In a world that celebrates being right, being fast, being powerful, kindness is radical. The Buddha said, "Hatred never ends through hatred. Hatred ends through love. Not sentimental love, not passive love, but a fierce compassion, the kind that meets suffering with care instead of punishment." Kindness interrupts the momentum of violence, not just out there in the world, but in your own heart. A kind word, a patient silence, a willingness to forgive, not because someone deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Think of someone who's hard for you to love right now. Can you send them one silent wish for peace? Not to condone what they did, but to loosen the grip of resentment on your own heart. Start small. Start with yourself. Be kind to your tiredness. Be kind to your regret. Be kind to your effort. Kindness isn't weakness. It's strength, the kind that builds, includes, and heals. 3. Seek wisdom, insight. Wisdom in Buddhism isn't about gathering knowledge. It's about seeing clearly, seeing that everything is changing, that nothing exists in isolation, that clinging, blaming, comparing, these only deepen our suffering. Wisdom asks us to look deeply. Is this thought leading me toward freedom or toward more entanglement? Is this desire rooted in love or in fear? And wisdom reminds us of impermanence, not to make us anxious, but to make us grateful, awake, present, because nothing is guaranteed, not even the next breath. And when you remember that, not as an idea, but in your bones, your priorities begin to shift. You begin to let go of drama, ego, and endless distraction. And you begin to invest in what actually matters: compassion, clarity, courage. Now, let's be honest, you will forget. You'll have days where you snap at the people you love, where you scroll for hours, where you numb out and fall back into old patterns. That's okay. The path is not a straight line, it's a spiral. You will revisit the same lessons. You will trip, but every moment offers you a new beginning. The Buddha didn't say, "Be perfect." He said, "Practice." And the power of practice is that it's always available. You can begin again, right now, with this breath, this thought, this choice. You don't have to transform the world. You don't even have to fix yourself. You simply have to wake up in your world, as it is, with presence, with care, with courage. So ask yourself, what small act today can I bring mindfulness to? What word can I say with kindness? What truth can I meet with wisdom? Because this life, your life, is not something to get through. It's a chance to grow, to serve, to awaken. Not someday, now. So now you know, you are not an accident. Your life is not a sentence, it's an invitation. This human existence you've been given, it's a once-in-an-ocean chance. And every breath you take is an opportunity to shape your path with awareness, kindness, and wisdom. Your mind can be your greatest ally, and your heart, the source of your freedom. The Buddha didn't offer us blind belief. He offered us a path. And now that you've walked through it with me, the next step is yours. If this video sparked something in you, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to Stillness Unfolded, and sharing your reflections in the comments below. Your engagement helps this channel grow and allows me to continue crafting meaningful, high-quality content for seekers like you. And if you made it this far, thank you. That already tells me you're someone willing to look deeper. Come back to this video anytime you need a reminder. This life is precious. This moment is powerful. And the path is always here. Until next time, be well, stay awake, and keep unfolding.